it's Chris, and this is PMFM. I recently went to an REI garage sale for kind of the first time. I think it was around this time last year that I became an REI member, specifically so I could go to an REI garage sale, but Olympia wasn't having one at that time, and instead I went to Tacoma. I left later than I had planned to. The garage sale started at 8 and I was hoping to get there a little bit before 8, and when I got there a little bit after 8, I suddenly learned that the line that was there that seemed awfully short was actually a line just to pick a ticket. And then when you got your ticket, there was a schedule that said come back at this time, which basically meant the people who stayed in line, 3 hours before 8 o'clock when they opened up, got to get their ticket at 8 and then, well, probably get in, but the people who got in later got to get their ticket and then leave if they wanted to and get out of the line and, maybe get some food or warm up somewhere and then come back when it was their time to get in. And when I found out that I was there a little bit after 8 and I wasn't going to actually get into the garage sale until like 10:30, I decided it wasn't worth going in at all. The good deals I thought would have been taken, so I decided to leave. But Lauren and I want climbing shoes, and so we went to the Olympia garage sale. It was pretty fortunate that I think we've been climbing for like a month and a half now, and there's a garage sale already, because they only happen, I think, 4 times a year, and especially with a place like Olympia's REI, it's small enough that they sometimes don't get enough returns to warrant having a garage sale. So, like I said, last year they just didn't have one when the other stores were. But this year they did, and Lauren and I got there. Again, they opened at 8, and Lauren and I got there a little bit before 6. And we waited in line for about 2 hours, and we had a really great spot. And I was really confident because we were looking for climbing shoes, and I was pretty sure there weren't going to be a lot of people looking for climbing shoes. So we stood in line. It was raining, and that sucked. It was raining and it was cold, but it was mostly the rain that sucked. We didn't bring chairs, which was actually okay because it was raining and so cold. I think if we'd been seated, I don't have any like waterproof blankets, and I definitely wasn't gonna bring a shelter. I don't have like a small tent that I could set up or anything. So I think standing really was our best bet. I brought some coffee, I brought some snacks. I wasn't really able to use my phone, definitely wasn't able to bring a book, so we just had to talk. And we're both quiet enough people that we were actually both okay just standing and thinking and not talking for a lot of the time we were in line. Basically, it wasn't a great experience, but it wasn't awful. I definitely would go back again, despite the fact that I did not walk away from the REI garage sale with any items for myself. So Lauren and I got inside, and one thing that surprised me, because again, I talked about the Tacoma garage sale I went to, they set up a tier system so that a certain amount of people get in, and then they just stop moving the line, and they let those people shop, and then they let some people in later. And the Olympia REI did not do that at all. So when we got in, and we probably got in line, about 6 o'clock, and probably the next person behind us got in line at maybe 6:30, and then the person behind them got in line at maybe 6:45, and the difference between our spot and the people who got there at like 7 was definitely less than 10 people. And they just let the entire line in at once. So if we had waited an hour, we would have only been, maybe 10 spaces back, which is only less than 30 seconds to get in. And that was a little frustrating, but not too bad, because again, we were only looking for one thing, and it meant that we were the first people at that box of shoes, and it was only one box of climbing shoes, which I totally expected. But I was also really surprised at how many people were looking for climbing shoes, because I did actually feel like, oh, I did need that hour, because we were the first people here, and just a little bit behind us there were some more people. And so it was nice because I was able to confirm that there definitely were no climbing shoes of my size, and I didn't have to feel like, oh, if I'd only gotten there a little bit earlier, maybe I could have found something. And Lauren actually got 2 pairs of shoes that she's really happy with. The reason it was frustrating was because when I realized there were no climbing shoes in my size and I tried to go find really anything else that I wanted, there just wasn't much left. I went through and looked at all the tents because I do need a tent. I didn't really want to spend money on a tent though. And the only tents that I found that I thought were going to be worth it for me were very specific lightweight backpacking tents that usually cost something like $300 and were only down priced to like $180. And for me, I don't have enough money right now that I want to buy a $180 tent, even knowing that it's a good deal, when I also know that I'm not going to use that tent anytime the next like 6 months. It's not worth spending that money now in order to save that money later for me. And so I just didn't buy any tents. I finally, after that, went up to look at clothes, and they'd been absolutely picked through by everybody else in line. So I'm complaining. I do wish that they had a tiered system at this REI, but also it's fine. I am really happy with the amount of stuff Lauren was able to take away. She not only got 2 pairs of climbing shoes, she got herself a chalk bag, just something to hold a bunch of chalk in so we can actually have that while we climb. And we went climbing the same day we went to the garage sale, so that meant that she bought chalk to actually put in the bag, and we got to use that. It also meant at least I was super tired because I also had act night the day before and didn't get much sleep. But it was okay. Like, she was so successful. 2 pairs of climbing shoes, chalk bag, and a new pair of pants to climb in and to treat as her activewear pants. She bought so much stuff that I felt like I'd been successful. And you know what? I'm a little bit happy about it because this probably means that I'm going to get the exact pair of shoes I want rather than getting whatever's there. There is one last place we want to go to, one place in Tacoma that sells used sporting goods, and they definitely had climbing shoes the last time we were there. I'll see if they have anything in my size that I want. Depending, I might get like a pair of shoes there and the pair of shoes that I most want and just have that backup. It is good with climbing shoes to have a backup pair where you possibly get one resold to get it fixed. Anyway, future me, have you gone back to an REI garage sale? And if so, what were you looking for and what did you get?